Hi, my name's Carl and I'm from Melbourne and I'm a Scientologist. The areas that Scientology have helped me with in life span across all fields, all facets, all parts of my life, from relationships with others and my wife and my kids, to my ability to create as an artist. To be honest, I had a terrible time communicating with people. I worked in a job where I met lots of different people daily, a lot of celebrities and people in the music industry, but I could never ever look at someone in the eyes, never. I'd always be sort of dodging around and somehow make it happen that the communication gets across, but that was one thing I found very difficult to do. And after doing a course called Success Through Communication, that stopped, and now I have no problems with that at all. To me, Scientology is tools that you use in order to improve yourself and to help others. Oh, the questions that Scientology have answered for me, wow. I mean, that's the amount of answers that I've had. Whereas before I was really searching very hard for the answers to simple questions like, well, what is life? I know exactly what it is and what it's made up of and how to play it. I know exactly who I am, whereas before I had no idea, basically. The single greatest success I've had because of Scientology is probably the fact that I'm still alive. Because there was a point when I didn't think I was going to make it because of my lifestyle. It was a very hectic lifestyle. I didn't sleep much. I always worked. I drank a lot, took drugs. The whole sex, drugs and rock and roll sort of world, that's what I lived. So, you know, there are people that I know that haven't survived, and some that, you know, not themselves because of the lifestyle. But now I'm doing great, and I didn't think it was possible to repair the damage that I'd done to myself, to be honest. But I'm on fire more than I ever thought imaginable, and it just seems to be getting better and better. What is my favourite thing about Scientology? The people, Scientologists themselves, because they're here to help themselves and they're here to help other people, and we're all on equal terms with each other. You know, there's a camaraderie or a friendship that I've never experienced before. What is the best way to learn more about Scientology? Well, the first thing is to read a book written by Mr. Hubbard and just ignore whatever you may have heard, you know, whether good or bad, and open it up and read and judge for yourself what you think it is and apply it to your life and find out if it works for you. How has Scientology helped me with work? Well, the proof is in the statistics and the ease in which I run my business. It's a machine that just rolls along and forever expands, and I find it very easy to run it. Whereas before I was a Scientologist, I really didn't know how to run a business. I mean, it's funny, you normally equate Scientology with business, but yet there are many, many tools here in order to run a business, and I use them and it works. It has solutions to poverty and war and drug abuse and physical problems and difficulties with relationships and communications and marriages and creativity. Scientology can help anyone, as long as they're willing to be helped. You have to, in order to find the things about yourself that needs to change in order to reach your goals better or become a better person or a more helpful person. The one thing I would say to someone about Scientology is to do it. Just do it. Before Scientology, I couldn't read that well, and I didn't really have a lot of confidence in my future when it came to work. But believe it or not, now I know that I could easily study to be a doctor or a pilot. In fact, I'm actually going for my pilot's license, and you know, that takes a bit of education. So, you know, it turned me from a dunce basically to someone that can run $1 million business and fly a plane.
The word Scientology comes from the Latin Scio, which means knowing in the fullest meaning of the word, and the Greek word logos, which means study of. It means knowing how to know. Scientology is further defined as the study and handling of the spirit in relationship to itself, universes, and other life. Developed by L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology is a religion that offers a precise path leading to a complete and certain understanding of one's true spiritual nature and one's relationship to self, family, groups, mankind, all life forms, the material universe, the spiritual universe, and the Supreme Being. Scientology addresses the spirit, not the body or mind, and believes that man is far more than a product of his environment or his genes. Scientology comprises a body of knowledge which extends from certain fundamental truths. Prime among these are: man is an immortal spiritual being. His experience extends well beyond a single lifetime. His capabilities are unlimited, even if not presently realized. Scientology further holds man to be basically good, and that his spiritual salvation depends upon himself, his fellows, and his attainment of brotherhood with the universe. Scientology is not a dogmatic religion, in which one is asked to accept anything on faith alone. On the contrary, one discovers for oneself that the principles of Scientology are true by applying its principles and observing or experiencing the results. The ultimate goal of Scientology is true spiritual enlightenment and freedom.
Consider this. In all of the endless hours of your schooling, you were given plenty to learn. But did anyone ever actually teach you how to study? Sure, you learned how to go to school, and maybe even what questions were going to be on the test. But were you ever taught how to learn? A lack of any real method of study has, over the years, led to many students studying just so they can pass the tests. Or trick methods of memorizing so they can repeat back the right answer when they're asked.
Abraham Lincoln.
And now and then, other more unconventional methods. But all of this is a substitute for actual understanding. You don't gain any real knowledge you can use. But study and learning are a vital part of everyday life, not just in terms of succeeding in your schooling, but in an ever more competitive world. Many people wish to advance their knowledge on the job. Or perhaps you've had a lifelong passion that you've always wanted to pursue. And as the years have passed, you've come to convince yourself that the subject is just too difficult. But the dream has never quite left you. And many people find themselves years after their actual schooling, needing to further their education so as to improve their situation in life. For any number of reasons, it's easy to see why it would be very useful to have an effective system of study. Scientology offers a precise study technology that enables anyone to learn and fully understand any subject. It's the first thoroughly workable approach to teaching people exactly how to learn. For example, one of the first steps of studying anything is knowing why you're studying. Instead of looking at data and thinking, is this going to be on the exam? Ask yourself this: how can I apply this material? How can I really use this? If you do that, you'll find you get much more out of what you're studying and be able to put what you're learning to actual use. Of course, you can't study a subject if you think you know all about it to begin with. Having a willingness to know includes deciding that there's something there to learn. In Scientology, it's been discovered that there are 3 distinct barriers which can block your ability to study, and therefore to learn. Each barrier actually produces a different set of reactions in you. If you can recognize these reactions, you can use specific tools to overcome them. If you've ever found yourself feeling bored or exasperated when studying something, or ever felt squashed, dizzy, headachy, or had that dead sort of feeling when trying to understand something, these are the reactions of the first barrier to study, the absence of mass. By mass, we mean the actual objects, the physical things of life. For example, if you were studying about flying from a textbook and read all about how to operate the controls, how much would you understand if you'd never actually seen an airplane cockpit itself? Seeing or touching the thing you're studying, getting the physical reality of the ideas you're trying to learn about would help remedy this.
And one of the most important things that you want to push.
With study technology, you'll learn several useful tools developed specifically to give you the mass you need to make the thing you're studying real to you. If you've ever tried to learn something and found yourself reeling or confused, or feeling like the newest step you're asked to do is just too hard,
Come on, let's go.
this is actually because a previous step wasn't understood and you jumped to the next step. This second barrier to study is called too steep a gradient. Gradient means the gradual step-by-step approach to something. With these study tools, you'll know exactly how to find which earlier step it was that you missed or never quite mastered, and how to handle it. If you tackle what you're trying to learn so that each step is easily attainable, even the most complicated things can be achieved. Now, have you ever gotten to the end of a page and realized you have no idea what you just read? Or have you ever put down a book in the middle of it, never to pick it up again? Well, believe it or not, both of those scenarios are caused by the very same thing, and it's the most important barrier of them all, the misunderstood word. A misunderstood word is a word which is not understood at all, or it's a word you think you understand, but you have wrong. Going past a misunderstood word gives you a distinctly blank feeling. And if you've ever seen someone getting groggy or falling asleep over his book, then you know they've passed a misunderstood word long before. This also explains why you can get to the bottom of a page and not know what you just read. Somewhere earlier on that page, there was a word you misunderstood. When this occurs, the section right after that word is a blank in your memory. This causes you to separate yourself from it and withdraw. Any class you've dropped or subject you've ever given up on has had its misunderstood words. With study technology, you'll learn how to find those words and clear up their meaning. And you'll not only feel brighter, you'll regain your ability and interest in the subject. As simple as these tools seem at first glance, they represent extensive research into the subject of study and the way our minds work. In truth, being a bright student doesn't depend on native talent. No matter how young or old, or how impossible the challenge may at first seem, with these tools, anyone can learn any subject they choose and use those skills to succeed.
My name's Steve and I'm from Melbourne and I'm a Scientologist. I found out about Scientology when I was about 7 years old, and my stepdad actually showed it to my mum. One of my favourite stories is actually how my mum actually helped me when I was in hospital after a massive boating accident that I had a couple of years back. And there was a point where I'd come out of surgery and I had a lot of nausea, and the morphine had really taken over, and I was all dizzy and everything, and I felt like vomiting. She started to give me what's called an assist. Now at the time I didn't really know much of what an assist was, but basically it helps you to sort of confront certain areas in your body that are in pain, and from that you can sort of overcome that pain and get back into control with it and be in cause over it. And she gave me what was called a touch assist, and that then allowed me to sort of relax my body again, and I sort of fell into this kind of calm sleep. And I would have been asleep for, I don't know, a couple of minutes after that, and it was the first time that I'd ever been completely relaxed. And you've got to understand this is after a 20-hour operation. And from what happened then, from what my mum had showed me after from the photo, my heartbeat was just perfectly up and down, and my breathing was just perfect while I was sleeping. And when I'd woken up, it felt like nothing had happened, and I was just completely normal again. And it was just like that. I just had all of this energy again, and I was just back to normal, and it just completely switched off. It was amazing. It helps me with basically every aspect of my life. Every day I'm applying it in some different way, with communicating to people, with keeping my own integrity in, with achieving my goals. It's really made me able to realise my capabilities. Before Scientology, I thought I could only do this much, and then I got into Scientology and I realised I could do this much, and then as I learned more and more, I realised I could do this much, and only knowing that I could just do that, I actually did do it. So, single greatest success from Scientology, I have to say, first day that I did the purification rundown, which is a rundown that gets toxins and drugs out of your body. What it did for me on the first day, the whole year before the purification, I had been on drugs for that whole year from my accident. I'd been on morphine, every painkiller under the sun. I was really bogged down. I mean, I'd be studying and sometimes I would lose focus and I'd literally have a bit of dribble coming out of my mouth. Like, I was completely numb. But at the time it was completely oblivious to me. I mean, it felt normal. And it wasn't until that first day on the purification rundown when I came out and I was just so happy and I felt so good. I felt like I was born again. And I mean, it sounds a bit over-exaggerated to say that, but it's honestly how I felt. I felt amazing. And I just walked out of there and just this massive smile on my face, and just, and I thought, that was good. And then every single day on the program, it just got better and better. Till the last day, it was just amazing. Like, my concentration and my awareness level, it just shot up, and I really looked back on the past and just saw that, that black hallway that I just came out of, and now I was just on the road for survival. Before I came into Scientology, I had all of these goals that I wanted to achieve, and I'd sort of had a bit of an awareness of what I could achieve, but I just wasn't doing it. In fact, I was almost running away from that, and if I had kept going the way I was going, there's no way that I would be anything like I am now. I don't even know where I'd be if I hadn't found Scientology. And now it's just, I'm keeping healthy, making sure that I'm doing the right thing constantly. I'm learning more every single day. I succeed in every single area in life that I can. And as I learn more about Scientology, I succeed even more. And if I just know that if I hadn't found that tech, I don't have a clue what I'd be doing right now. I'd probably be a drug addict, to be honest. My favourite thing about Scientology is that no one tells you what to believe. There's many places in the world today that you can go to and they'll tell you what's true. You go into Scientology and one of the main things they'll say is that, what's true for you is true. So, that's a bit of a shock to a lot of people because, you watch TV and there's someone on the TV telling you what to believe, or, you go to school and the teacher's telling you what's true and what's not. But in Scientology, one of the main things is learning how to study. And it's such an important thing because if you know how to study and you really actually understand how to do that, then you can come up with your own data and you can then decide from what you have in front of you if it is true or not. The best way for someone else to learn more about Scientology, what a lot of Scientologists say is, you should get a book and read it. I guess the main reason why is because, who am I to tell you what to believe? I'm not going to say, this is true and, that's true and whatever else and that's false. And, that's not for me to say. It's up to you. You go find out, Only you're the one that's going to decide that. So just go get a book and check it out for yourself. Who can Scientology help? It can help anyone who's willing to get help. If you're really committed to, succeeding in life or getting better in life in every way, then Scientology's there for you. Everyone who's involved in Scientology not only wants to help themselves, but they want to help others. So there's heaps of people here who can help you with anything that you need help with. Even if you think that life's perfect at the moment, well, that's awesome because it can be even more perfect than that. There's no limit on how good you can get. It's just like you keep applying that data in your life and all that's going to happen is it's going to keep improving. And that's the whole idea of Scientology is, you come in here and from just day one, you're just going up and up and up. You never bog down. It's just, you're always getting better and better in life and you're always looking for areas where you can get better and better. So you can basically just rock in life.